This is Land of Havilah, Psalm 46. It's 11 verses. The first 3 verses are a promise of safety. Verse 1. For the chief musician by the sons of Korah, according to Alamoth, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we won't be afraid, though the earth changes, though the mountains are shaken into the heart of the seas, though its waters roar and are troubled, though the mountains tremble with their swelling. Selah. Comment in verse 1, this is a musical piece according to Alamoth, also translated set to Alamoth and upon Alamoth. Since Alamoth means young women, it's also translated for the young women, maybe indicating it's intended for female vocalists. The thrust of the first 3 verses is that no matter what happens, God is our refuge and strength. The worst imaginable catastrophes won't overwhelm us. Even if the mountains slide into the seas, we'll be okay. That much of the psalm is very easy to understand, but the coming section is mysterious. Verse 4. There is a river, the streams of which make the city of God glad, the holy place of the tents of the Most High. God is within her. She shall not be moved. God will help her at dawn. The nations raged, the kingdoms were moved. He lifted his voice, and the earth melted. Yahweh of armies is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Comment, the hypothetical catastrophes of verses 1 to 3 took place on the earth we know. In contrast, verses 4 and 5 we just read describe a mysterious place we don't know called the city of God. It's a place of safety. The mountains aren't falling into the seas there. Rather, there's a peaceful river in verse 4, which reminds us of the river of New Jerusalem that flows from the throne of God in Revelation 22. The city of God is a place of gladness instead of terror in verse 4. God is there in verse 5. It's his dwelling place. We might call it home base for him because his tents are there in verse 4. That place shall not be moved in verse 5. In verses 6 and 7, quote, the nations raged, the kingdoms were moved, he lifted his voice and the earth melted, end quote. Grammatically, it's all in the past tense. Geologists claim that the earth was originally a hot ball of molten lava, then the surface of it cooled and solidified. But verse 6 describes the opposite situation. The earth was solid, people were raging on it, kingdoms were moved, whatever that means. Then God spoke and melted the earth. Though it's all in the past tense, it seems to be a prophecy of the future. Maybe it's the war at the end of the millennium when the nations will rage against God, literally go to war with him, but he'll defeat them by the word of his mouth. Then he'll destroy the present heavens and earth with intense heat, Revelation 20:7-11 and 2 Peter 3:7. That would fit the bill of people raging, kingdoms moving, and the earth melting as this psalm describes. In verse 7 of the psalm, through all this, quote, Yahweh of armies is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge, end quote. Coming up, we're invited to see in our mind's eye the desolation of the earth that'll forever put an end to the rebellion of the nations. Verse 8. Come, see Yahweh's works, what desolations he has made in the earth. He makes wars to cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among the nations. I'll be exalted in the earth. Yahweh of armies is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Comment, since God will destroy the earth, but he's the refuge of his people, where's he going to take us that will be safe if it's not the earth? It'll be the city of God in verse 4, where there's the river and the place of his tents. We see it all in a glass dimly, 1 Corinthians 13:12, so let's stay tuned for the full revelation of it. This would all have a heavenly feel to it, sung in female voices. Finally, in verse 10, a famous line, Be still and know that I am God, end quote. We should still our nerves or calm ourselves or take a moment to contemplate that he is God. Since he is, his people will be more than okay. Psalm 47 is next.